and welcome to another edition of Dis After Dark. I am one of your hosts, Nick.
And Paul D.
I'm Craig L.
And Paul W.
and that's a full house for tonight, everybody. Chris is ill. I think we all kind of suffer with little bits of the lurg.
Yeah.
I've got a bit of a cold. Mr. Washington's afraid of the rain.
Yeah, I certainly am.
Yeah,
now I've come down with a bit of a cold this afternoon as well. Now
it's all about rain you're avoiding. Yeah. And in fact, I'm gonna try and while we're doing this, I'm actually gonna try and periscope the fact that I'm making a hot toddy for the first time, which I've never done. I've never had a hot toddy. And Mr. Dolan, as you are the token Scotsman of the show, I'm making mine using a slice of lemon, the lemon rind. Right. The lemon rind has been stabbed with cloves.
Oh,
nice.
Technical.
And I'm going to have a bit of brown sugar in it, and some lemon juice. And I'm also going to put in there as well some whiskey.
What whiskey?
Well, I never mind the cloves. Get the whiskey in there. Yeah,
it's the Hay Club.
Nice.
It was the Father's Day present last year, the David Beckham stuff.
A double measure.
Of course. So I'm going to make that on Periscope. So if anyone's joined us on Periscope, hi. 4 people have apparently so far, so that's good. But enough about that. Guys, what are you drinking? You know what I'm drinking.
I'm drinking Irish breakfast tea. It's called DaDs. So I'm drinking DaDs tea. If Barry finds out, he'll hit me.
He won't be happy. No? Okay, fair enough.
Okay, I've got a bottle of Hotel Chocolat cocoa beer. And
you mean the 80s wrestler?
What's the percentage on that?
Sorry.
Sorry?
What's the percentage?
Hang on a second. With the toasty, malty notes of roasted cocoa. Hang on. 4%.
Oh, it's a girl's drink, that.
Yeah. No, 4.7, sorry. 4.7%.
Off the wife beater.
So it's a big girl. It's a hockey playing girl.
Tea.
And the Disney connection is they're going to be opening this new chocolate ganache shop in Disney Springs. There you go.
Oh, there's a good connection.
There you go.
Hey, we've got someone from Cincinnati on the Periscope. Right. How crazy is that? Yeah. Thank you for joining. There's a dark brown sugar for those that can see it. Brocat. Hi, Brocat. There's a dark brown sugar for the hot toddy. So I'll continue making that while I go on. Mr. Washington?
As I said, bit of a cold, but I'm feeling a bit piratical. I've gone for a rum tonight.
Ooh.
Rum? Hello, sailor.
Sailor Jerry. Dong. I'm having that.
You're obviously not. You're having Barry's tea.
Barry's tea, yeah. I'm just looking out the window. I can see a big Irish fella walking past. He looks a bit like Barry.
Who is Barry?
Don't know, but he makes nice tea. So there we go. So while you're making that, are we going to get straight into housekeeping?
I think we should do. And I mean, obviously, we've had some quite good feedback on our last show, actually, which obviously is good. It's good to get any kind of feedback. But, we felt it was a bit of a risk, really, the last show. Because, we did kind of lay it out there and we're quite honest about what was going on. And it's done okay. We had some very good and generous offers of sponsorship, actually, more than we was expecting. And with that in mind, we do actually have our first 2 official sponsors of the Dis After Dark podcast.
Yes, we do. We are honoured that WDW Today podcast, that famous podcast, the biggest, longest serving Disney podcast in the world, is actually sponsoring us.
This little show from Brighty.
Yes. WDW today. So go and download them. Right? Show them the love.
And you
And if
should have
you're-
done anyway, actually, because, well, two of the people on this show today are actually on it.
Yeah, they're on the latest episode 1497.
Yep.
So Paul 3 and Paul 2. And then our next sponsor is Wendy from Magical Journeys Travel. So please go and check out our sponsor's website, wpmagicjourneys.com. So now the download figures, something crazy is going on. In the last week, we have been at number 7 in the US charts and number 6 in the UK charts. And in both charts, we've battered Lou Mongello, we've danced on the head of the Dibcast, and we've shown Pete from the Dis, whatever it's called, Dis Unplugged, a pair of heels. Now, the last figures for the last show, if you remember, was 666. Now,
Number of the beast.
4 weeks later, that's on 773, right? Now, our figures for the show 2 weeks ago is on 916.
Whoa!
That's awesome.
And that's only the listeners, I think, have picked up on the fact that we're putting our figures out there and they want to see the show grow, and it's growing. So thank you very much.
No, thank you for your support. To everybody that's tweeted or downloaded, I suppose more important than anything else. Because, yeah, you know, we said that, you know, the listeners are the reason why we did this show, and it's true. You know, we're not lying about that. It's very, very true. And you're coming out in your numbers. So
Yeah.
thank you very much.
There's no I in team, just like there's no B&Q in Wigan.
Really, that's fascinating.
There is an eye in Wigan, though.
There is an Iron Wigan, yes.
But
Right, I'm just going to go and get the whiskey. So,
Where's your whiskey?
well, if you can see it on Periscope, no, you can't actually. It's outshot on Periscope, but yeah. So
What's that in your hand?
That's another video you're watching.
Oh.
Hang on, actually, I think my headphone will. Yeah, it will. That's good. So it does. I've got to be honest. I'm not put a whiskey in yet, but it does smell very good. If a bit strong. So this will obviously take it right over the edge.
I love that noise.
This is genuine. It's a big old bottle as well. Oh, that is a lot.
Oh, get it down, you son.
Oh.
Take bow, son.
And he ground it right up. Yes. Anyway, so we had a few ideas. Obviously, I've been on holes while everything's been kicking off, which is another thing. Actually, is it because I buggered off that all this stuff's happened?
Not at all.
It's very generous of you. Thank you.
We'll be a bit of 1,000 after this show.
But that is very strong. But bye-bye Periscope. Bye-bye. Yes. So, you know, I've been away, but Mr. Washington, who is centre of a lot of stuff at the moment, if you don't mind me saying, suggested us talking about the hot topic at the moment. I think I announced the opening of it just after our last show, and that's of course Shanghai Disney.
Yeah, I think possibly just before. I think we'd already got the topic of talking about Hollywood studios for the previous one, so we kind of said that we'd look at Shanghai for the next one.
That is it. Sorry, that's really good. That's really, really good. I'm surprised how good that is. I thought it was going to be horrible. I was hoping it was going to be horrible. It made better audio. So, yes, is it the 15th of June it opens?
16th. I'm on the
16th,
website.
yeah.
16th. Oh, I was close, considering I'm, I only make stuff up as I go along.
Bladdered, considering you're bladdered.
Yeah, that as well. Yeah, I mean, what? I mean, from what I've seen before they announce a date, there seem to still be quite a few issues.
Yeah, it seems like they're only half built. And it looks like the issues that are going to pop up is that it might not even be finished on their opening date.
Wow.
Well,
And that they're going to open it in parts.
Yeah.
But doesn't that generally happen at every Disney park when it opens?
Well, it definitely happened at Euro Disney. In fact, I was looking at the map the other day because in Town Hall or City Hall, they have the original Euro Disney map from when it first opened, and you can see on that map the Indiana Jones indoor attraction, and also what would have been not Space Mountain, Discovery Mountain, which was going to have Space Mountain and other attractions in it. They're on the map. And of course, they were never going to be finished opening day. But of course, they never materialised full stop because of the issues. So I think you're right. And I think when Mr. Boniface went to Hong Kong, they were still building quite a bit of that. Because it was like a one-day park, wasn't it, when he went?
Yeah.
I don't think it still is, but I know they've added more attractions since he went.
I'm actually looking at the website here because I'll be honest with you, I know nothing about this project.
At all?
No, I just know that it's there. Do you know what I mean?
It's got a bloody Tron roller coaster. What are you talking about?
And it looks pretty special.
Yeah. And I mean the castle. You must know about the castle.
No.
The castle was like a Big Brother's house.
Oh.
It's supposed to be home to all different princesses.
Oh, has it got
And
cameras?
it's going to have rides inside the castle, I believe.
Really?
Yeah.
Rides with the girls, or?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm just having a look. I know I did read that they were definitely going to include rides inside the castle.
Listeners,
and there's not a lot about it. But
if there's one thing you can never say about this show, it's that we don't not do our research before we start recording. That's definitely not the case.
Yeah, what I'm reading is it's not actually saying what the attractions are going to be, but it does say that it'll include several attractions within the castle.
You've got to ride. You get to ride a princess.
Yeah,
I'm not fast past that.
You've got to get there first.
It is called Enchanted, so you certainly will be if you're riding a princess. That's for sure.
It is the biggest castle of all the parks
in the world.
In the world, yeah.
Yeah.
It's massive. It is absolutely massive. Much like the egos of some people on this show. But yeah, I mean, obviously, the only thing I really care about is the fact there's a Tron roller coaster, and the fact that as well that the suits they have to wear, like the cast members have to wear for the ride, look like what people wear in the Tron Legacy film. That kind of style, really awesome.
Well, I'll tell you the lands we've got. We've got Adventure Isle.
Okay.
Which houses Camp Discovery. The Roaring Rapids. And Soaring Over the Horizon.
Yep. New soaring ride.
So then we've got Fantasyland, which is Alice in Wonderland Maze.
Wow.
And as Paul W's just said, Enchanted Storybook Castle, Honeypot Spin, The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, The Once Upon a Time Adventure. Now that's just got a picture of the castle, so maybe that's in the castle again.
That possibly is what's inside the castle.
Peter Pan's Flight, The Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and Voyage to the Crystal Grotto. Now, what's that all about?
From what I'm reading, it looks like it's going to be a typical Disney boat ride.
Oh.
That includes a lot of like different animated films. It says here that it's including Tangled, Aladdin, Mulan, Fantasia, and Beauty and the Beast.
So like maybe the greatest hits.
Yeah, it sounds like it could be something similar to Storybook Circus, Canal Boats.
Mulan now. Interesting.
Right, well, next we've got Gardens of Imagination. And that's got the Dumbo the Flying Elephant. Fantasia Carousel. That sounds interesting, doesn't it? Garden of the 12 Friends.
I've got to be honest. Anything that has the word carousel and it doesn't actually infuse me at all, Greg. But each their own.
And the last one, which has just made my eyeballs pop out, is Marvel Universe. What's that?
It's not going to be open, I'll tell you that much. Because there's definitely not been any talk about what's going to be there. Well, actually, no, it's not true. There was imagery quite a while back now of a Iron Man attraction.
Yeah, I think that's going into Hong Kong first. If I remember rightly. I think they've got the exclusive rights on that to start with. I think they showed a lot of that at D23 last year.
Does sound like there's quite a lot of stuff in the castle. Looks like there's a boat ride, a show. So that'd be interesting.
I'm quite impressed they've got the Alice in Wonderland maze because, I mean, Tokyo Disney have the Alice in Wonderland restaurant and Alice in Wonderland rooms in one of the hotels. So they're quite, as fanatical fans go, Alice in Wonderland is one of their big ones over in Japan. Mm-hmm. But they've never gone for the maze. In fact, no park has other than Paris. So it's interesting. And it'd be interesting to see how similar it is to the Disneyland Paris version. I'd like to think it's a bit more updated. But,
well, we've got Tomorrowland coming up next. Buzz Lightyear Planet Rescue.
Okay, so not the usual Buzz Lightyear attraction. Good.
Jetpacks.
Okay.
Star Wars Launch Bay.
Yep.
Stitch Encounter. And then the Tron Light Cycle Power Run.
Boom, boom, boom. I mean, it could be that the Stitch attraction isn't actually the Alien Encounter. It could be more like the Stitch Live. I don't know. I mean, the description says nothing.
I would think it would be, yeah.
Stitch Live is a much, much better attraction.
Yeah, and I think the Buzz Lightyear one is similar to what we've seen before.
Yeah,
looks
from what I'm reading,
looks like it.
Yeah, it just seems like they've changed the name because they're using slightly more updated technology in it.
Yeah.
Jetpacks is interesting because obviously I can't see what you can see, Craig, and I don't know if there's any images, but I do remember reading quite a while ago now that there were blueprints drawn when the Rocketeer was going to be a massive, massive success, and they were going to put an attraction in one of the Disney parks in America, and it was going to be a jetpack attraction. And think of it a bit like Dumbo, but instead of sitting in an elephant, you were kind of attached to a kind of jetpack device, and you were swung round like that. That was the plan, but obviously the Rocketeer didn't take off.
I wonder whether it might be based on Tomorrowland, the film.
Let's hope not for their sake.
Yeah, they did use something similar in the film. They did use jetpacks in the film, so it wouldn't surprise me if it's not something that's based off of that.
By the way, I mean, I say that. I mean, has everyone watched Tomorrowland now, or still?
Yeah, it's a grower. Yeah. I've watched it 3 times now. I quite like it.
Craig, that's your penis. I didn't hate it at all. I just think it was a little bit misjudged. But I think it's a shame it flopped as hard as it did, especially when, Maleficent did so well. It seems to be like the films that I like Disney making don't do as good as the ones that that everyone else loves. But hey ho, yeah, I quite liked it. So I say that in jest. Yeah, never mind. And it's got to be another land, surely.
Yes, I was just looking at flights to Shanghai. Gardens of Imagine. Oh, no, I've done that one. Tomorrowland. Yeah, I've done that one. Treasure Cove.
Here we go.
Explorer Canoes. That'll be shut within a year. Pirates of the Caribbean Battle of the Sunken Treasure.
Yep.
That sounds good.
That sounds exciting.
This is the one that I'm really excited about.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is a completely different ride.
Shipwreck Shore, sorry. And Siren's Revenge.
According to Dr. Freud.
Yeah.
Poseidon's Revenge.
Siren's Revenge.
Oh, Siren's Revenge.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Right, I've just had flights up from London. Obviously, this is from, so it'll be out of season, the cheapest seats available. £485 to Shanghai.
There's one massive problem with that, though, Craig.
Go on.
The smog. It's really bad. Like, one of the big things they've been facing at the moment is the air quality around the resort, and they're trying all sorts of tactics to try and better the air quality around there.
Stick a dome over it.
Yeah, it worked for Stephen King, I suppose.
Yeah.
Well, thank God they won't be letting off lots of fireworks to make it even worse.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
So going back to what Paul was kind of alluding to there, the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction is a brand new attraction.
Mm.
It's not a Pirates of the Caribbean ride that we know it's been dropped in. This is much more of a dark ride, and I think a bit more action packed than the rides that we're used to. But yeah, again, the imagery of it looked great. I think they showed some of it off at D23 last year, and it's going to be based purely on the films. So it's not like with the attractions now where they're trying to shoehorn Johnny Depp and other characters into the ride. This is purely based on the films, as if the rides never existed. So yeah, I think it'd be really interesting. A nice little twist on that. And speaking of nice little twists, I think at this part of proceedings, I'm going to hand the reins over to Craig.
Okay, well, this is our first ad break ever, so bear with me. And this is for WDW Today, the longest running Disney Parks podcast. 10 years and nearly 1,500 episodes. It was rebooted in January with an all-new cast. It's got all new segments and guests like Dick Van Dyke. You heard me right, boys. Dick Van Dyke.
Not behind me, governor.
Not Mike Van Eyck.
No, he's dead.
Okay.
It's the only place you can hear the house band Off Kilter.
Wow.
They were formerly from Epcot's Canadian Pavilion, and we're in the process. We're going to try and get Off Kilter on as guests on Dis After Dark. We'll see what we can do. And so go and subscribe today on iTunes to WDW Today. And they've put on here, brings a little tear to my eye, they're proud to support Dis After Dark.
Well, we'll see how long that continues, obviously. Although saying that, as we mentioned earlier, the two Pauls we have with us today, I heard were fantastic guests.
They were stunning. Put your hands up in the Mouse's Head pub now who listens to WDW Today.
Definitely.
All hands are up.
Almost since the beginning. I don't know exactly what episode I started listening, but it's definitely at least 9 of the 10 years.
Wow.
Yep.
I've done about 5 of the years.
And the only one that's still there in the new lineup is Len Tester. So Len Tester's still there.
I think Len's now just a head in a jar.
Yeah, he comes on at times, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Len's Frozen Head.
Len's Frozen Head, yeah.
But,
that's a new one.
So, and on with the show.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So just coming back to... Are we going back to Shanghai?
Yeah.
Yeah? So it's just, looking at the map, you've now got Hong Kong, Shanghai, and Tokyo, all in the same kind of area. I know there's big distances between them, but, 3 Disney parks in the same kind of area.
Yeah.
Biggest density of Disney parks anywhere in the world now, once Shanghai opens up.
Is it the biggest density of population on the planet?
Well, there's certainly
China.
1 or 2 people in China.
Yeah, that's probably true. Although I mean, I suppose it does make you wonder. Well, it makes you wonder. It doesn't. Why they didn't kind of try to expand further into, Eastern Europe, like around the kind of Russia region. Because I mean, again, that's another massive market, isn't it? But
This would be quite. This is, I mean, obviously Russia's massive, but these could be the local parks for Russia, really. I mean, not so much Moscow because it's still Paris, really, is the closest park. But you've got Paris at one end and the Asian parks at the other end.
And the thing is, as well, with Paris, that they have been trying to do more. Like they've extended Christmas a bit longer because of the amount of Russian families going over just after, because their Christmas break's a bit longer. So I know they have been trying to pander to that recently, so it's interesting. But I did read something today. They've actually announced the ticket prices for Shanghai Disney. And they start at 370 yuan and up to 499 yuan. So what do we think about that?
Well,
I'll explain. So the lower price is about $56.
that's not bad
And
for a brand new park.
Yeah, and the upper price is 76. Okay, so that 499 yuan is for a peak day ticket during festival, holiday periods, and weekends. Okay, this means Shanghai Disneyland has the lowest price of all Disney theme parks.
Yeah,
and like you say, it's a brand new park.
Yeah.
What sort of hotels are we looking at?
I'm not looking at any hotels at the moment.
They've got hotels on site, haven't they? Got a couple.
Yeah.
Disney would have to, like, Disney now won't bother unless that's going to be the case. But sorry, Paul.
They've got a Toy Story themed one, I believe.
Ooh.
From the outside, it looks very similar to what they've done at some of the other hotels in Florida, with like big characters outside and things like that. I think there's a big, like, one of the Pixar balls outside. So
Left or right?
and is it Buzz or Woody's?
Oh,
Well, Woody's only got one ball. The other's in the Albert Hall. We all know that. But I mean, I suppose it's like the kind of the Pop Century All-Star Resort, that kind of
layout. I think so,
Yeah,
or similar to Art of Animation as well. What they've done there.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Shanghai Disneyland Hotel, which is, I guess it's a bit like Disneyland Hotel at Paris. So it looks, you can look into the park. You can get a garden view room, a lake view room, or a park view room.
I think that's where I'd be staying. This is a once-in-a-lifetime trip, this.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not coming back.
I'm not going to Pop Century when I'm over there.
You have to find out what the prices are first.
It'd be a hell of a bus ride.
Yeah.
But people are complaining that the prices are too high.
What?
Yeah.
And that it says, the article, this is from Disney and More, which I think episode 4 we had Alan on from Disney and More back in the early days.
Time ago,
An awful long time ago. God knows how we got him on.
You had Afro then.
I did have enough rest of that. If you saw the Periscope, you know that still did now. But yes, this is his article, and apparently the Chinese netizens, which are made up mainly of students, have complained the price is too high and that they have no intention of going. As usual, he says Disney's targeting the middle class with family, and of course not to mention the rich Chinese there as well. But people are complaining that they, what are they expect to do? Miss school? Not go at weekends and go during the week? Which I suppose is valid, but I mean, well, I suppose people can complain about anything, can't they? That's the thing. People can literally, you can give them something for free and they'll find something to complain about.
The thing is, I mean, although it's a developing country, so there's probably quite a lot of people there who are on, lower income. But if you go anywhere now, I mean, we went to Venice year before last, and it was packed full of Chinese tourists. So, there's a lot of money there in China. There is a lot of money. So, yeah, maybe everybody.
You want to come to Liverpool?
But,
they're all in the universities here, yeah?
Yeah.
All the children are being sent over here to get taught.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they're minted.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have it. So, right, okay. Realistically, who's going and when?
Well, that's what I was looking at the map for, because I want to go to Tokyo before I want to go to Shanghai or Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tokyo Sea is definitely higher on my visit list.
Yeah.
I think Disney Sea has always been for a lot of people based around the hype. But I mean, come on, looking at the rides that they've got and the lands and everything like that. I mean, I'm interested.
Yeah.
Colour me interested, surely.
Yeah.
It's got to be comparable to a Florida trip. This.
I think price-wise, you could be correct. I think the main issues there is that, and I mean, Paul said this when he went to Hong Kong. Hong Kong. Oh, that Toddy's confused now. And that the language barrier wasn't too bad, because a lot of it, because of historical reasons, a lot of the things were in English as well as Cantonese. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out, because Shanghai, do they really need to pander to anyone else? Possibly not. And Tokyo Disney again is quite similar in that respect, in that there's not much English. It's normally more in the native Japanese tongue. So, that does put people off. I mean, I know people that had never gone to Disneyland Paris because they were worried about the language barrier. Or everything's in French,
They've got the website out in English. So that's a start.
Yeah, I was going to say that. But
that's a massive.
It's more than Japan have done. Japan have never had an English-speaking website.
No. Other languages are available. It's been a while. But yeah, I think
it's been a while.
It's been a while.
You do it better.
Everyone does it better than me. But yeah, I mean, so I think that would be the main thing for me is what they have to offer in that kind of regard. Before I'd kind of make that decision. It's a long way to go. I think
it's a long way.
I think the first 6 months are going to be crucial, and the feedback obviously on that as well. To be honest, with two little young whippersnappers, and we'll allude to that in a minute. Going to somewhere like that is probably a little bit out of the way. It's probably not going to happen for me unless we can organise a Dis After Dark trip.
Oh, yeah. Boys club.
That's it.
Dis After Dark cruise. That's what you want.
Oh, bring it on.
Right. Yeah.
Dis After Dark swingers club.
We have that already, Craig, but we're not supposed to talk about that on air.
Oh, sorry. Said too much.
Thank you very much.
It's a bit like our version of the Producers Club.
We'll just throw our keys in the middle.
Bottle openers. Chuck your bottle opener on the table, middle of the table.
Oh, he's in there.
Yeah.
But I do think, it does look extremely interesting. It does worry me that they're open. I feel they're opening too soon. I'm not really sure what the rush is. Would another 6 months have hurt it? Or another year?
Especially when it's taken 6 years already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although maybe that's it. Maybe because it's taken that long, Paul, maybe, they want to start getting some money back.
Yeah,
possibly.
I think so.
Especially because it's not fully owned by Disney as well. There is a partner in building it as well. Whether they put some pressure on to get it opened, I don't know.
So they've still built this theme park quicker than Avatar Land.
But it's almost done. It's about 20% complete.
We nearly got through an episode without talking about Avatar Land. Nearly.
Yeah.
There was another thing on. It was on Disney and more, so we're giving them a good couple of plugs tonight, and they're not even our sponsor. But there was another thing on there about articles in the local newspapers, just about the conduct of Chinese tourists. I don't know if you saw that about rude Chinese tourists. You know,
No.
spitting all over the place, smoking whatever they want, fights in public.
Sounds like Paris.
Yeah,
So
I was
yeah,
gonna say.
well that's what I thought. Yeah,
Sounds like a pub garden.
yeah,
I didn't know that actually, but yeah, I mean, well, I don't. I'm a little bit surprised only because I don't know much about that kind of culture, to be honest.
no, me neither.
I've got to
Yeah,
say.
it may be. It might just be hype.
I think I'd definitely consider it. It maybe let it be mature a little bit, get everything open, get it all settled down, get all the kinks ironed out. I'd give it 5 years, I think.
Yeah,
I might go for my 50th, which is 8 years.
Well, you can't give it 5 years and then say 8 years. Make your mind up.
No, well, you've got to. I would hit, like Paul D said there, I would hit all three of the big.
yeah,
I'd go out there for like a month or something.
yeah.
3
I know
weeks.
there was. It's different now. They've changed it because we did look this year, but there was a cruise, a Royal Caribbean cruise that went from Shanghai to Tokyo, and it was like a 7-night cruise, and that would be ideal because you could fly into Shanghai, have a couple of nights in Shanghai, so do Disney, then get on the boat for a week, then get off at Tokyo and have a couple of nights at Tokyo, so you could at least hit those two, and you know you'd be on an American ship, you know, seeing some other sights on the way. That's the kind of thing I'd like to do.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I can understand why.
There's no icebergs out there, is there?
No, and Leonardo DiCaprio's nowhere to be seen.
There's radioactive fish, like, but
Yeah, but I mean that's understandable, surely.
Godzilla.
All this talk about trip planning, though.
Yes.
yes, Nick.
Craig.
Okay, we're just going to have another little ad break, and we're going to introduce you to Wendy Prater at Magical Journeys Travel. She is happy to be one of the new Dis After Dark sponsors. Whether you've been to Disney one time or 100 times, there's still a lot of planning involved. Let Wendy be the one up at midnight when your window's open to get that coveted Be Our Guest reservation or the Anna and Elsa Fast Pass for your own little princess. Mention that you heard this advert on Dis After Dark and get $25 off your deposit with any trip package.
Say what?
Word up! Be sure to ask about her generous onboard credits for Disney Cruise Line too. Find her on the Twitters at WP Magic Journeys or WPMagicJourneys.com, as the Americans say. .com.
Well, there is a plug.
There you go.
Very good. So yeah, that you know, I just thought it tied in with the trip planning.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's been away. I went to
Where have you
Disneyland
been?
Paris.
Oh.
Not as glamorous as Florida, of course. Bloody freezing, actually, this time of year. Now, luckily, we were, although he says with a cold, we were.
Did the cold bother you?
Cold never bothered me anyway. But you chip it up, son. I'll knock it in.
Yep, I'll knock it up. You have there.
But yeah, so we did go off thermals and whatnot, and it was quite good. This time of year, it was quiet. The sales were still on from like the post-Christmas sales of all the old hat they couldn't sell. If you wanted a Doc McStuffins or Jake and the Neverland Pirates head backpack, they had about 10,000 of the buggers they couldn't sell at €5. And it was just as we were leaving, they started to put out the stuff for Swing Into Spring. So in the Central Plaza, they started putting out the, I suppose, topiaries. They're not really they're kind of topiaries, but they're not topiaries. It's a weird thing. But yeah, it was a good time to go, and because it was quiet, it meant the characters were quiet to go and see, so it meant that we was able to spend a lot of time doing that and not having to queue for too long as well. But it was really the cold that kind of gets you. So if you are ever going to plan to go that time of year, then bear that in mind. But the kids had a great time. My son meeting Mickey Mouse the first time was completely starstruck. Alice got to meet Alice and the Mad Hatter, who was really good actually, but he was a little bit too mad and did scare a little bit. But I mean, the thing is, so saying that, although he scared Alice, he was phenomenal. Really played the character well, so I can't really complain about that too much. But at the same time, there were just a few little things that annoyed me a little bit. So,
enough to put you on the soapbox.
Pretty much, Craig, pretty much. So if you want to do my impromptu jingle that you did ever so well last week.
It's Nick's Soap Dishes Soapbox. Get on it now, Nick.
I've just stood up. I just stood up on it. I'm wobbling as well. That hot toddy's really kicking in. It's not going to stop me from having another one in a minute, though. So there's a few things about Disneyland Paris that did annoy me ever so slightly. And the thing is, it's things that annoy me now as a parent that I wouldn't have thought about before. So I kind of have to accept that part of it as well. The first one is with buggies. Now, we've gone a couple of times now with buggies. This was the first time we've had to go with 2 buggies. Now we have 2 children. And we've always taken a bike lock. Now, there's kind of like an unofficial rule. Apparently, you're not allowed to use bike locks. However, tell that to the staff at the Hotel Santa Fe that sell bike locks behind the desk.
It might be for people's bikes. Have you ever thought of that, Nicholas?
I have indeed. No one has a bike. Think again. I did actually think about that for a second, but I thought no one's got a bike, not around here. So there was that. But so we've always taken a bike lock because people have reported before that people have gone off with expensive prams, and if you're going to take an expensive pram, you've got to be careful. But anyway, the thing that annoyed me though wasn't having to lock it up, wasn't having to put it in certain spaces. It was the fact there was no cover. Now, twice we were caught out. The first time we was on Buzz Lightyear, and by the time we come out, it had absolutely hammered it down. There was like a 5-minute wait for Buzz Lightyear as well, so we hadn't been on that long. But by the time we'd come out, it was torrential, really, really bad. So we had to use some carrier bags to let the kids get back into the pushchairs because there was no cover. The second time was when we was at Cafe Mickey. Now, Cafe Mickey does actually have some covered area. That's in the Disney Village for people that don't know where that is. But it started to hailstone really badly. I tried to record the audio, but I'm not sure if it's come out. And what happened was, although they were undercover, it was being blown at a diagonal angle. So they were covered, yet they still got covered in hail. So, it was just a bit annoying. But the fact that there's no...
That would make me mildly mad, actually.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was annoying. It was annoying, because, to be honest, most of the time Alice wanted to walk around. It was only when she was tired that she wanted to get in a buggy. Lincoln was in his buggy nearly the whole time. He's a lazy sod. I don't care. He can't defend himself. If he was here right now, I'd say defend yourself. He wouldn't. So, but... that was just annoying, and I just can't get over why they can't, especially this time of year. During the summer it's not too bad, but just stick a gazebo up. That was my initial thought. Stick a gazebo up. Problem solved.
Just don't go to Wigan.
Or that. Now the second one.
There's 2.
And also, by the way, do not go to Wigan. There's no B&Q there. We learned that
exactly.
earlier.
Yeah.
The second thing that really annoyed me when we were there.
Home base.
Not home base, no. Although that is in Wigan, yes. Was smoking. Now, I know we've had people complain about smoking before. Mr. Washington, you've done that as well, when we first had you on. I've always noticed it, but this time was exceptionally bad. I'm not really sure why. But no one gives a monkeys about it. Like, people will just smoke in front of staff wherever they want, and everyone just turns a blind eye to it. Now, I appreciate that, it's a cultural thing, right? But it's now 2016. When the park opened in 1992, and they got so many things wrong in terms of, like, French culture, I could understand it at that point in time. But we're now at a point where smoking is pretty much socially unacceptable the world over. I mean, America especially.
Is vapor sticks taken off in Paris, or is it all still?
There were. I did notice quite a few vapor sticks, but still not as much as actual. Because I mean, vapor sticks, as annoying as they are nowhere near as annoying or as bad as cigarettes, in my opinion. But still, way too much smoking, and no one doing anything about it. And I just think, really, at this day and age, they should be. And what annoys me the most about it is we've got designated smoking spots. They'd actually put people in them. Tell them to fudge off and just shove them over there. Just stick them out of my way. Right? I don't want to be surrounded by smoke. And the best example of this was Alice was a bit tired. She was throwing a bit of a tantrum. She'd just gone to the toilet with her mum. I was standing outside the Ratatouille attraction. Don't confuse the two things. And she came running out, and she'd thrown a bit of a tantrum and threw herself on the floor and started, crying like she was. Somebody went to go and help her up.
What about Alice?
She was fine. She wasn't throwing a tantrum. But no, someone went to go and pick Alice up with a cigarette in her hand. And it's like, it's obviously nice when people try and help out. I get that. I'm not saying that people shouldn't do that, because that's a nice thing. Okay, I get that. But not when you've got a fag in your hand. Because I remember being burned with a cigarette when I was a kid, grabbing someone's hand that I thought didn't have a cigarette in their hand. They'd swapped hands, I hadn't realised. It bloody hurts. Now, I know that person wasn't going to do that, but at the same time, it's just like, I just don't want you doing that. If I choose to smoke around my children, that's my stupid decision, but it's my decision to make. I don't need other people doing that and trying to get involved there. So that's the other thing that annoyed me. So the smoking thing, they really need to do something about. I'm not having this French culture thing anymore. Sort it out. The third thing, and the last thing, is
Sacre bleu.
Sacre bleu, indeed.
This is value for money.
Well, it's more value for money for the thing I'm going to complain about, that's for sure. PhotoPass Plus.
Oh.
Okay. Now, I bought a PhotoPass Plus. Did you buy one, Paul?
I didn't. We were going to, and then from what I was reading, it just wasn't worth the time and hassle to go even get one.
So we ended up buying one. Now, I'll tell you why we ended up buying one. Because we had, I remember saying this before, we got a really good deal. It was, I think in the end we paid like about 250 quid or something like that for like 5 days, 4 nights, 5 days, park tickets and hotel Santa Fe and breakfast. So it was a good deal. Our neighbours were going. We told our neighbours about it when we booked, and they were going just after us. So we was crossing over. So we went home on the Thursday. They arrived on the Wednesday for their 5 days. And when you buy PhotoPass Plus, it lasts 10 days. But 10 consecutive days. So think about it when you get your Walt Disney World pass for 14 days. It starts on the day you first use it, and it lasts for however long the period of time lasts. So it's 14 days. It's 14 days from the first day you go into the park. Okay. So this is the same with PhotoPass Plus. It's €50 to do it, and for that you get your photos taken at certain meet and greets if they've got a photographer, and you also get certain ride photos as well. So we're talking Tower of Terror, Buzz Lightyear, Spin, Rock and Roller Coaster, Pirates of the Caribbean, Space Mountain 2, might have been a couple of. I think that was it. I don't think there was many, but you could have those onto your photo pass, and I said like the character meet and greets. So if he's looking to buy ride photos, that might save you a bit of money because I think they're about €10 a pop or something anyway. So there's that. When we've done the Mickey meet and greet before, we've bought photos. And we've probably spent about 15-20 euros on photos. So, if you're looking at that, then it's probably not too bad. But really, the main reason we bought it was because we split the cost with our friends. Because it was going to last their duration as well. So we went halves on it. So it was like 25 euros each. That was the main reason for doing it. Now, we've come home. We've obviously got to see their photos and our photos. We are missing a few photos. And I think what happened was, the woman scanned a ticket to give to us before she saw we had the photo pass, and then tried to scan the photo pass, and it obviously didn't transfer over. So it was quite annoying that happened, but it is what it is. There's not much we could do. It was Buzz Lightyear. We managed to take our own photo, so we got some memories of it anyway. But it's more the fact that other than the rides, the only character meet and greets we could have photos for were Buzz and Woody in the studios, and there was a Mickey Mouse meet and greet in the studios as well that you can have your picture taken there, or the Spider-Man meet and greet in the studios, or the Meet Mickey indoor attraction inside Magic Kingdom. That was it. Now I remember getting Photo Pass Plus when we went to Florida years ago, and they've got photographers all over the park. So whether there was characters, if it was just in a nice like backdrop location, if they wanted to put Tinkerbell in your hand, or you wanted to cuddle Stitch or something, they do all that kind of stuff. We come back with loads of photos.
Yeah, we had over 800 last year.
Yeah.
Smashed it.
So between us and our friends, and there's 10 of them as well that have gone out there, we come back with about 60 photos.
That's not worth it, is it?
I don't think so, and that's the problem. It's a great product, but they're not doing what they should be with it. Where is the photographer near Sleeping Beauty's castle?
That was exactly what I was going to say. We noticed that there's nothing like that at all. No, you just pose with something in the background. Nothing like that at all.
No. And I mean, the thing is, in Main Street, especially during extra magic hours. So, Paul.
I was just going to say, I think you answered your own question earlier, Nick. He was having a fag.
Probably was. Sacre fag. But when we went in extra
cigarette,
magic hours,
sorry, for our US listeners.
Yes, or vapor stick. In extra magic hours, when we went into Main Street, we had Minnie and Mickey on the left. Right in the centre, there was Donald or Chip and Dale, depending on the day. And to the right was Goofy. And if you walk further down past, or kind of up Main Street towards the central hub, you had another meet and greet to the left as well. None of those had photographers. I understand it about the impromptu ones. They might not have a photographer because they might not, have planned ahead or whatever. But you would like to think a park of like a Disney park, they would know what they're doing when. And so there's like an Alice meet and greet now. So near the Alice in Wonderland maze, there is a section with a sign just in between the Mickey meet and greet and the Alice in Wonderland maze. There's a section now for meeting Alice in Wonderland characters. No cover, again. So there's a couple of days no one came out because it was too wet. And when they did have people come out, no photographers again. And that's a spot designated for meet and greet. Go and meet Minnie Mouse all day long at the bottom of Main Street. Again, there all day, scheduled, no photographer. It just doesn't make sense. They're asking to spend this much on it. And maybe what they're trying to do is get you to buy it before realising you're not going to get any photos. You're going to get very few photos. I just found it very annoying. It was those three things during my trip that made me mad. However, I say that
But it was a good trip
it was a good trip.
overall.
Yeah, as I said, I mean, the problem is Lincoln was mostly bemused. When he saw Mickey, Buzz, and Woody,
Yeah.
it blew his mind. You know, all of a sudden, kind of like completely starstruck, and it was really nice. But he's very nonchalant at the best of times, and this trip was a great example. We spent a lot of it asleep. He spent a lot of it in his buggy, not wanting to do anything. But when it was things like that, he loved it. And you know, I've had people say to me, "Why are you going when your kids are so young?" Well, one, I now agree with you because we needed a holiday when we come back. It was so bloody tiring with two children. But it's always been about the memories for us. Having those photos with them that young, with the characters, and seeing their faces when it's all kind of wonder and everything like that. Yes, are they going to enjoy it more when they're 4 or 5? Absolutely. I have no doubt in that at all. But this trip was for us. It wasn't necessarily just for them. It was more for us and our enjoyment. And so yeah, I mean it was a success. And what I will say as well, I do talk about it. I recorded some audio when I was out there. I'm going to collate that. I'm going to just whack it out as a little bonus thing. It's not going to be a massively long podcast, but I tried to do a bit of what Craig did with his trip. And we'll release some audio. I've got some good audio for a ride as well, but I won't say any more, but that'll be on there as well. But what I do want to talk about just quickly is Santa Fe. We hadn't been there since it had been done up, so now it's Cars themed. I don't know if people remember the original Santa Fe. It used to have a massive billboard outside it on the roof that was like a fake Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Do you
I
have a
stayed there
flying
when it was
saucer
like-
as well?
It does. Yeah, that's still there actually. That's at
Right,
the back
okay.
of the hotel.
Right.
But yeah, so the fake Clint Eastwood got replaced with a Cars picture some years ago, and we knew it was Cars themed, but I didn't realise how good it was. So essentially, what they've done is they have put along the roof of the buildings out like silhouettes of a desert and like Lightning McQueen. And it sounds really simple, but like at night when it's lit, it's kind of like backlit. It looks really, really cool. When you go into the hotel buildings, the carpet runner is traffic cones. And when you go, like all the rooms, the buildings are named after characters, so all the doors have the characters in it. So we was in Lightning, so all the doors had his picture on. But the actual rooms themselves were really well themed, I thought, for what they were, for what is a basic hotel room. There were cone lampshades. There was wallpaper runners along the top with all the characters on and stuff like that, all around the room. And the bathroom had a really good neon effect mirror. So it looked like a neon sign, like you'd get in Vegas, something like that, or in the desert, almost like a drive-in sign, as the mirror. And I'll upload some pictures on the website this week so you can see. But for what is the cheapest hotel, it was actually quite pleasant to stay in. And it was the first time I stayed at a Disneyland Paris hotel, and it reminded me more of an American hotel. Because the big gripe I've always had with the Euro Disney or Disneyland Paris hotels is that there isn't any kind of major theme to them. They're themed, but it's very generic. Whilst, you've got All Stars, Pop Century, Art of Animation, all of these kind of resorts that have these Disney themes running through them. And we've not had that at Disneyland before, and now we do. And they're doing a lot of work on Cheyenne at the moment. And I know there was some rumours about Toy Story being incorporated over there, which I couldn't see at the moment. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely looking nicer over there. It'll be interesting to see what they do when they're finally finishing it. But it looked like there was quite a lot of work to do. But yeah, all in all, it was a nice trip, a good trip. We're suffering now, but it was worth it, I think, which is the main thing.
Did you eat in the parks, Nick? Or downtown Disney?
Any
Any memorable meals?
Yeah, McDonald's 3 times.
Yep.
Yeah, that was memorable.
Yeah, we did McDonald's twice.
Yeah, we had a sandwich as well. We did do a character dining. We did go to Cafe Mickey because we'd gone with Alice when she was really young, and we thought it would be a bit cruel to kind of take her when she was young, but not take Lincoln. So we thought we'd better go. I found it expensive. It has gone up again. It was about €37 a head for the adults. And actually, you know what? I'm going to get back on my soapbox just quickly. Fourth thing that annoyed me about Disneyland Paris, I knew there was something I forgot. So we're sat there at Cafe Mickey. It's a set menu, right? And there's the adult menu, there's a few options there, and there's a kids menu. Kids menu is 3 to 11. It's always been like the rule that kids under 3 eat free anyway, right? Or they can eat off your plate, whatever it is. So we was looking, was like, I don't really know what the kids are going to eat, because Alice is pretty good, but Lincoln's a right fussy little sod. So we was looking at the menu and thought, well, it's a 3-course menu for the kids, but they only really going to eat the main course probably. So I thought maybe we just get them some chips or something. And so we asked when the waiter come up and took our order, for the kids, could we just order like a plate of chips or something for them to share? And he's like, oh no, it's a set menu, so you're going to have to get a set menu. He said, how old are they? And we said, oh, well, one's 2, one's 1. And he said, oh, we do supply kids with food under the age of 3. And it was a jar of baby food. Now, what child, what child at like 2 years old, even after, a lot of kids are over 1, is eating a jar of baby food? And that was what they
Adam.
It wasn't open, otherwise I would. I thought opening a full bottle of something at somebody was a little bit cruel. And in the end, we said, that's fine, they'll eat off our plate. We both got a burger that came with like potato waffly things, so they could, munch those and it was fine. But I just thought, like, how terrible is that? Especially when the other option was to spend €25 to get them a kids menu, which they'd have shared between them, granted, but of 3 courses, they'd have only have eaten 1 course.
It's like common sense has gone out the window.
Yeah. But it's because people will pay it, I suppose. But you just think that's your offering for an under 3-year-old.
I bet you the Frenchman wouldn't pay it.
I tell you what, one other thing as well. The whole trip, a lot of people moan about the French and their attitudes and stuff like that. Everywhere we were, in the park, outside of the park, on public transport, couldn't have been nicer to help us, especially when we are crap at speaking French. We say like, merci and, parlez-vous anglais, things like that, but we're rubbish, okay? We barely can speak French, it's embarrassing. But everyone tried to help if, they saw us struggling with a suitcase or something like that, because, having 2 kids and a suitcase and a bag and that, it was a bit hard. But people helped. When we got back into London, no one gave a toss.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it says a lot when people moan about the attitude of the French, and yet we experience worse from the English. But
that's good.
Yeah, but yeah, so no, all in all, it was a good trip. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed going on Star Tours for the last time. I really did, because it's definitely showing its age. But I'll miss it. I will miss it. Mm-hmm. But I was just gutted to miss Animagique, really. I missed it by a day.
That was brilliant, that show. I've only ever seen it once.
We'd seen it quite a few times. I prefer Cinemagique, but no, it was good. And obviously when you have kids, it's much better. But
yeah, we went and saw it twice last time.
Yeah. Alice has seen it, but Lincoln never did. And the new show at the Chaparral Theatre starts tomorrow. Actually, had soft opening this weekend, but we weren't able to see that. So it was a shame. But it was good. Seeing the Swing of the Spring stuff was good. It's if you can get a cheap deal, it's a good time to go. But saying that though, again, there was a lot, as we've talked about before, a lot of stuff closed, or a lot of stuff that's going to be closing soon. I think it's I think it's quite a big mistake they're closing Star Tours, to be honest. Although it does need the upgrade, they're closing it just after The Force Awakens has come out. And Star Wars merchandise was literally everywhere. And even like on the train coming in from Paris, at loads of stations were posters for Star Tours at Disneyland Paris. Not closing, like reminding you it's there.
Mm.
So
Jedi Training Academy is closing as well, isn't it, for a while?
Is it really?
Yeah, they're upgrading it apparently. So
okay.
It's only been open 6 months.
Exactly, yeah.
It's a bit ridiculous that they're closing it already.
I think the thing is though, because we didn't go because the kids are too young, but it's in the old arcade.
Yeah.
They've got one side of it still the arcade, and the other side of the arcade is now Jedi Training Academy. So maybe they're just gonna knock it all through. I don't know. It seems it seems to be a bit small. So maybe they will do. And I was gonna have the Darth Vader burger, but I didn't because I didn't want my poo to be black for a couple of days. And
Darth Vader burger.
Yeah, have you not seen it?
No.
It's got a black bun.
I heard Darth Vader had a black bun, to be honest.
That was something else.
May the fries be with you.
There's a
Use the forks, Luke.
You don't use a fork for a burger. No one uses a fork for a burger. Come on. There's a Jedi burger and there's a Darth Vader burger. The Jedi burger is a normal single cheeseburger with a like kind of beige bun that has Jedi embossed in the bun. This is true.
Last week's burgers are called the Yoda burger.
There's a Yoda cupcake.
Yeah.
That is green. The Darth Vader burger is a double burger. And it comes with a black bun that has Vader embezzled in it. So, it's quite the sight.
I wouldn't have minded seeing a black poo. That would be quite good, that. Like a big tube of licorice.
There's a Periscope I don't want to see.
Yeah. I don't think we'll be doing that one anytime soon.
Let me go and eat a jar of beetroot and I'll get back to you tomorrow.
I've heard what beetroot does to you, and I'm not thinking about the other end. Anyway, I hear the bell is being called for time, gentlemen, please. I need to have another hot toddy. As you can hear, I'm getting bunged up.
I can hear that.
Great, yeah. But listeners, thank you for joining us. And before we do go, Mr. Lucas, one more time, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, just go and check out our sponsors. Wendy at wpmagicjourneys.com and of course the world famous WDW Today podcast. Search for it on iTunes, Stitcher and everywhere else you can find podcasts. Indeed. And message them that Dis After Dark sent you.
Yes, please do. Mm-hmm. Please do, because we're very proud to have them as sponsored. We're pleased they're pleased to be our sponsor, but we're very proud to have them. And if you let them know that we've sent you, then that's good for us and good for you, I'm sure. So thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you in a couple of weeks' time. Mm-hmm. And we'll leave it there.
Sounds good.
It's all right, that.